No, no, please, not that. Anything but that. Oh my god, no. Oh. Hello and welcome to the Matt Hawker Show, where we analyze choice words that surfers used while they're boogie boarding on those hip, gnarly waves. I'm Matt Hawker. Today, we're going to go surfing. And we're going to go surfing right into some deep logic. Now, let me tell you something. You ever watch the show Yu-Gi-Oh? I bet you have. Let me tell you something about Yu-Gi-Oh that's just going to rock your world. So, Yu-Gi-Oh is the epicenter for Nazi racism. Now, you might be wondering, how could that be possible? And I appreciate you wondering that, because that means you're paying attention. You're in the know. So, basically, in Yu-Gi-Oh, the ultimate villain, the smartest man in the world, the guy who develops robot card monster technology from ancient Egyptian magic, has a card that is the personification, or should I say the dragonification of white power. Blue Eyes White Dragon, indeed, is quite possibly the epicenter monster of all racism. First of all, it is a dragon that envisions Hitler's dream project, turning young white German men into mythical dragon beasts that would be found on cards and played in an anime in the future of World War II. Now, it's strange to think that his vision was actualized, because indeed, there is an anime that utilizes young German men turned into white dragons with blue eyes. But I think there's a couple things that we can look at here that really can help show us that maybe it's not all bad. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, that's a good thing. I'm just saying that we have some counters baked into the equation here that might balance things out. So Yu-Gi-Oh has a couple other monsters that I find quite compelling, actually. For example, the hero, the protagonist of the show, uses Dark Magician. Now, I think that's very interesting. So we have this contrast of white and dark. And we know Kaiba hates Egyptians because he destroyed their magic to create machinery. So I really feel like there's also a weird anti-immigration stance that Yu-Gi-Oh is fighting with. So anyway, Dark Magician utilizes dark magic to defeat young white German boy dragons. And that's really cool. And in fact, Yu-Gi-Oh utilizes Kaiba's own strange... I don't even know how to really... I feel like he's just got a whole... Kaiba's a racist. He's just a racist. So Yugi counters all of that by summoning the 5 parts of Zodiac, Exodia. And he summons Exodia, and he stops white racist dragons forever. And I think this sort of is just an analogy that God hates racist dragons. And that's why dragons aren't real, because they are all inherently racist. Now, you might be saying, but wait, Matt, what about Red Eyes Black Dragon? Well, first of all, if you see a dragon with red eyes, that dragon has been corrupted by white power. It has been corrupted by evil, and it has become a degenerate dragon. It no longer cares about being holistic or pure, or giving candy to children, or sharing its wealth upon the nations around it. It only cares about fulfilling the destiny of the more powerful dragons that it surrounds itself with. Therefore, it is unfortunately a follower of Blue Eyes White Dragon. And Kaiba knew all of this. It's why all of the machines center around empowering his own monster. And that's anime for you. I mean, that's just pretty much all anime ever. Most animes center around racist white dragons that then they try to create this weird, compelling dialogue about it. It's just really weird. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Dragon Ball Z. That anime was filled with racist dragons. First of all, they don't really care about anything. You make a wish, boom, they grant it. That's scary. That's dangerous. And the reason why I'm calling them racist is because if a racist makes a wish, they have to fulfill it. They don't have the moral obligation to say no because they have no morals. And I mean, quite frankly, if you have no morals as a dragon, you might as well just be a racist. And that's really sad, and it's very unfortunate. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, I guess I should rephrase this a little bit. Dragons may not be inherently racist, but it seems like anime definitely wants to set them up that way. I've met a few good dragons in my lifetime. There was that one dragon that I met. I was at the grocery store and I was getting an apple. No. I was getting some grapes, and he goes, "Hey there, friend." And I go, "Wait, that's not your voice, that's my voice." And he goes, "Yeah, you're right. Hey there, friend." And I go, "Hey, dragon, what's going on?" And he says, "Looks like you dropped a grape there. Do you want me to go pick it up for you?" And I said, "Sure, dragon, go for it." And then he said something along the lines of, "Boy, oh boy, I sure like picking up grapes." And I said, "Oh, that's great, dragon. Thank you." So I picked up the grape and he handed it to me and everything worked out. And I got to say, I was very relieved about that. I was very happy. I went home, I had some grapes, and it was interesting. He picked it up with his dragon hole, which was beneath him. I don't really know what it does. I don't really know what that's all about, but he picked it up with that very easily, and then he dropped it right in my hand, and he winked. And then he gave me a card with his number, and then he strolled on out of there. He just trotted on out. I was going to combine trotted with strolled there. That's why the word sounded weird, but, I didn't. So kudos to me for not doing that. And really, maybe I should have. Maybe I should have given that guy a call, or maybe I should have put those words together. I feel like there's a lot I'm missing out on these days. I feel like there's a lot that I'm just skipping out on because I'm making these choices that ultimately don't get me anywhere. They're paths that I've built, but I don't really walk down them. And ultimately, when we dream, we lose our essence in a sea of whispers, a cacophony of those around us who beg to sleep but cannot, and are tormented for eternity because they cannot find peace. But I can. I sleep 8 hours a day. It's great. And that's where, a lot of the material comes from. So let's dive into a segment here. I'm going to start a new segment on the show. It's brand new. I just came up with it. It's pretty great, I think, but we'll see what you think. It's called the name we're still working on, but we'll create it live here. It won't be live or alive. I don't really get the live thing, but it's going to be alive. This is a live title in a live title because it needs to have just breath. It needs to just breathe. It just needs to be real. It needs to feel. It needs to be Matt's Big Dreamisode. So yeah, Matt's Big Dreamisode is the working name for the time being. Anyway, let me tell you about some of the dreams I have. I'm a guy with some weird dreams, and it's not because I eat pizza before I go to bed. It's not because I tickle my left nipple whenever I roll over at night and go, hoo-hoo, and then just sort of, squirm and dance, and that sort of influences my dreamscape. Basically, what ends up happening is, I sort of go into new alternate dimensions that are created as soon as I fall asleep. They literally are summoned into existence because I have decided to rest, and it's beautiful and fascinating. So let's talk about one of these dreams. So a long time ago, in a dream that I had far away in a bed like no other, I dreamed that I was a child. Should I do that voice? Do you like that voice? Let's do the voice for a little bit. Now, as a child, I knew something was afoot. Not like the Foot Clan and Ninja Turtles, but just a foot. And not like a literal foot, because you might think that because it's a dream, but it's not really a foot. It's just, a foot, like something's amiss. And not like a miss, like I missed the dream entirely. Don't worry, I had this dream. It happened. It was something that existed. But okay. Then, as I was playing in my dream yard, I noticed something strange. Does strange work better than a foot or a miss? Let me know what you think. Send me an email. Great. Anyway, okay. An old man came up to me and handed me a rock. Does that sound like the voice of a kid? Should I be like, and he handed me a rock. And then I was like, oh man, look at this rock. Wowee. And then the old man said something like, don't ever give up. Hurry. And then the old man ran off. Oh my. So I'm playing with this rock, and then I noticed that 3 big dudes just chase after the old guy, and they disappear into the horizon of suburbia. By the way, the yard was in a suburb in the dream, even though I've never lived in a suburbia, and I don't really know what day looks like. Anyway, so this rock had magical powers like no other. The rock would allow me to teleport between different eras of my own life. Fascinating. And I realized that I didn't have any set lifespan. But, the most important part of the dream. Rewind. One day I was in school, and a kid next to me said, one day I'm going to take over the world. And I said, I already used the phrase one day. And he said, too bad. That part didn't happen. That's a joke. Feel free to laugh. So he said he's going to take over the world. And then let's fast forward. So, I have this rock, and it allows me to transport my essence to any part of my life that is existing. So I'm not going into different eras. I'm literally sort of like looking at a roll of film, and I'm just bloop into whatever spot I choose. Like I just point at it and I'm there, and I'm living in that moment. Well, it turns out that kid was indeed taking over the world. Crazy, right? So I got this rock, and I'm like, oh God, I got to stop this guy. But it turns out he's using mass hypnosis to send everyone on the planet into these giant fields. Then he just lights them on fire. Holy cow, right? And actually, at one point in my transferring to different beings of me, I was in that field because whoever I was hypnotized. Because although I could transfer my essence to different parts of my existence, I couldn't change the outcomes necessarily, like long-term stuff. It was weird. But somehow I managed to get myself off the field and then go somewhere else, and my life track reset. So this guy finds out that I'm time traveling. It turns out he makes a legitimate time machine, which I use as an old man with the rock to go back in time to a suburbia. And then I find this kid in a yard who's me. And I say, you must take this rock and save everyone. You must hurry. Which probably isn't what I said at the beginning of the story, but the point is, it all sort of connects. It's like the same crap. You get the meaning. The whole point of the dream was like this weird cycle. Crazy, right? I've never experienced anything like that. Just kidding. I did. And if you were listening, you would have known I did because I just told you the story. And dreams are weird. Dreams are strange. They don't really make much sense. I always find it interesting that dreams aren't interesting to anyone else except for you. Like, we all talk about dreams and we all pretend that dreams are cool, but really they're not. They're just kind of lame. They're just these lame things that we experience that seem really great in the brain, and then once it's in someone else's brain, oh, who cares? And really that kind of makes sense. It's like, really, when you're trying to tell someone about a dream, you're trying to sell them a product. You're trying to say, this is cool, this is interesting, listen to this. They don't give a crap. They don't care about your dream. That doesn't matter to them. They care about their dream. So what we need to do is we need to round everyone up together, and we need to lay them all out in a field. And what we need to do is we need to burn them. We need to get rid of them. We need to consume their essence. We need to break down their flesh, and then we must disperse their mind ooze into a jar, a little jar, and then place the jar into a ball, and the ball will say, I am everyone. And it will have everyone's minds as one, and it will be truly beautiful. It will be as if looking at the sun until you become the sun, and the universe rotates not only around you, but it points and looks with jubilation at whatever direction you move toward. And wouldn't that just be perfect and beautiful in every way? Yeah, I think it would. But Unfortunately, that kind of stuff doesn't happen, and that would be ridiculous if it could. Reality isn't as cool as that, and we'll never get to that point. I think technology could take us there. I mean, we have self-driving cars, right? We can just, have things do stuff for us, but this whole mind meld thing, I don't know. And I couldn't even imagine what it would be like to go into someone else's mind. Like, so, they would go like, "Hey Matt, how are you?" And then I would like poop and like pee, and they'd go, "Oh wow, good job, you did it." And I would go, "Thanks." But would they see my poop and pee? Like, would they feel it? Or would they just acknowledge it? Like, the mind meld thing just seems strange to me. And we see old shows do that sort of stuff. The whole weird, "Oh, we're going to be one now." And they become one. But they're not really one, and they're not really sharing each other's memories. I mean, like, can you even like recognize all those things? I mean, the brain has so many connections. I feel like if you merged minds with someone else, you would just have a seizure and freak out and die. I mean, that seems like the only outcome. So imagine if we put billions of people together at once. They wouldn't be able to do anything. It wouldn't make us smarter. It would just make us really stupid. Like, it would just sort of like being in the center of a hurricane, and all you hear, see, and feel is wind tearing your body apart. That's what I feel like it would be like to share thoughts and dreams with another individual. It would be terrible. Maybe it would be great. Maybe it would be like so painful that it would be, blissful in a way. Like, maybe it's like the masochist's ultimate fantasy to meld minds with another individual until you become lost in a painful bliss. I should, maybe we should give it a shot. I don't know. Maybe people could vote on it. We could have like a democratic election for the mind melder versus the guy. He's the mind melder's like, "We need to merge into one being," and the other guy's like, these are things we can weigh out later on. These are things we can consider down the road. I'm not going to try to go too far into that right now because I know that's not happening yet. But that's definitely a process. That's definitely a debate, a discussion, a conversation, a dialogue, an intervention on current contemplation that I would like to see intertwined with the universal speech that progresses throughout our beings or our beans. I could eat some beans right now. I'm a big bean guy. And not just any bean. I don't like black beans. I do like black beans. I don't like baked beans, but I do like baked beans. And I don't like pinto beans. The pinto beans are pretty good too. But I really hate it when you put them all together. But I love it when you put them all together in a big bowl and you just get in there and you and you just do that for like 2 to 3 hours, and it's a beautiful experience. It's a wonderful time. I highly recommend it to everyone. Get a bowl of beans, just go ooh, yeah, oh, ooh, ah, yeah, oh, ooh, oh, oh, and then when there is nothing left inside of your body and you fall over like a sad potato sack that was never filled with potatoes because Ireland ate them all, you too will know infinite bliss. And I hope you find it. I really do. So, as the show keeps progressing, as we keep getting better, as we keep moving forward in the ideologies of the Matt Hawker Show, in the philosophy of the Matt, the Tao of all we know and love through this podcast, through this exploration, through this journey, I like to think that we're all progressing as one, and not in the mind meld sense that we discussed earlier. We're separate, but equal. Right? That sounds great, right? Separate but equal. Not like a mind meld thing where we're all merged into one being. Because, really, can we truly be equal unless we're all in one being? Do I need to gather everyone? Sometimes I think we do. We have to just become one essence. We have to merge ourselves. Maybe I could stitch people together from back to back, because otherwise that's all we'll ever be, separate but equal. Will that truly ever end unless I can feel your arm without ever being your arm? Well, I guess I would be your arm. I don't know. If you touch a fern and you feel its nature, can I ever truly be wise to that unless I too am part of you? I don't know. It's a stressful thing. You know, clearly this is a hot topic. It's something we keep going back to. Should we be one being? Should we simply be as one? Should we all merge into the same essence? You know, maybe that debate does need to happen now. I mean, clearly it's something that has taken the focus of the Matt Hawker Show. It's something that's very relevant in our discussion now. It's something that we can't just escape. You know, from the blue-collared worker in Pennsylvania to the coastal media man in California, you know, these are things that keep us up indefinitely. I don't know how anyone gets anything done with these sort of thoughts. And maybe becoming one being will just settle all those thoughts once and for all, and we'll find that softness, that peace, that softness through infinite sound, through an inescapable soundscape that just is all-consuming. Maybe we can't truly relax until we're everything, or until we're all. Maybe the desire and the dream of the human is just to escape its humanity, to escape its mortal frame, like a picture. Like, imagine a picture in a room, and it's trapped in a frame. But once it escapes that frame, it consumes the room around it and the reality around it until the reality has become the picture, or at least they become something new. Maybe that's what all humans are trying to do. Maybe when humans bang, you know, bang, they're really just trying to release their innards into someone else so that they can escape their body, but they can't. They're still trapped. And maybe that's why people get really sleepy after they do that. You know, they just get really tired because they are about to give up. They're just about to fall apart. Nothing matters. They can't do it. They can't get out of themselves, and they're trapped. And maybe that's why after sex, people cry. Like, everyone just cries, like they're in tears. And it's a really sad experience. It's just a very bad time. And it's why when you're actually doing it and you look at your partner, you just get really upset, and you recognize that this isn't worth it. And even if you reach that pinnacle of release, that you're never truly released. You're still trapped. You're still forever within a frame. Anyway, hey, thank you for listening to the Matt Hawker Show today. Remember, you can check us out on patreon.com/the Matt Hawker Show if you're interested in getting some live updates from me. We also now have a facebook.com/the Matt Hawker Show and a Twitter, which is just also the Matt Hawker Show. I don't know if I want to do any stuff with that, but hey, it's there. You can look at it. You can comments and scribe. You can be a scribe on my social media. You can write, and you can do all of that. And I really hope you do. I love you all so much. I want to marry you. I really hope that you accept that. I've written some vows if you'd like to hear them, but I'm not going to do them on this episode. We'll do an episode called Matt Hawker's Vows, where I'll get on one knee and talk to you and look into your eyes and wish you the happiness that you deserve through my blessing of me. Anyway, thanks for listening. Tune in next time. Thank you.